Yeah, bro. I know you remember this show.
Let's do this! Samurai Ranger, ready! Samurai Ranger, ready!
Samurai Ranger, ready!
Samurai Ranger, ready!
Samurai Ranger, ready!
Samurai Ranger, ready! Rangers together! Samurai forever!
How's it going? How you doing, everybody? It's Chaotic Things. Welcome to the channel. Today's video, I'm gonna make you take a trip down memory lane, whether you like it or not. Before we do though, over 93% of you are not subscribed to the channel. That's a lot of people. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, do all that shit. You read the title and you saw the thumbnail. We about to talk about the best Power Rangers that has ever existed, in my humble opinion, Power Rangers Samurai. For those of you that are not familiar, Power Rangers Samurai was a show on Nickelodeon that came out in early February 2011 and ended in early December 2011, making the show's end almost a decade old. It's about 5 fighting samurai rangers that protect the world from the forces of evil. In order to do this, they must learn and harness the elements and weaponry of the ancient samurai power in order to control the forces of water, earth, forest, sky, fire, and light. I swear I'm not talking about Avatar, okay? Just trust me on this one. With their leader, Jaden Shiba, the Red Ranger, and their sensei, Mentor G, the Power Rangers set off on many adventures to fight creatures called Nighloks and Moogers, giant monsters with huge-ass growth spurts, and defeat the evil Master Xandred before he takes over the world. Now here's a breakdown of all the characters. Jaden, as I mentioned before, is the Red Ranger and the leader of the Power Rangers Samurai. He had trained with Mentor G to become the Red Ranger his whole entire life after the death of his father. Jaden is a calm and determined individual that always makes sure his team and the world are protected and safe. Next, we got Kevin. Kevin is the Blue Ranger who is seen as the replacement leader when it comes to Jaden being unable to fulfill his duties as leader due to circumstance. He is a reliable, serious, straightforward individual that acts as a team's sense of logic when it comes to doing what's best for the well-being of other people outside of the Power Rangers group. Next is Mike. Mike is the Green Ranger who is more energetic and seemingly the one with the most agility out of every one of the Power Rangers. He is somewhat of a comedic, lazy guy with a big heart that's always down to chill and have fun. Personally, he's one of my favorite Rangers because of how he seemed to balance his cool side with his energetic side. Next, we have Emily. Emily is a Yellow Ranger who is known to be very sweet and kind. She is also pretty clumsy too.
Come on, it'll make you feel better! I'll clean it up. Not again.
Despite this, Emily has a very big heart and always wants to protect her friends. However, she struggles with being a stronger person, both in a physical and emotional way. And last, we have Mia. Mia is the Pink Ranger who is known to be the big sister of the group. She is very caring, but her only downside is her cooking, which is said to be extremely disgusting, but everyone pretends to like it in order to not hurt her feelings. And yes, I know I missed one Ranger, but we'll get to him later. Besides them, there are 2 other main characters that act as comedic effects for the show, and their names are Bulk and Spike. Bulk is the uncle figure to his nephew Spike. The crazy thing is that Bulk was actually in the first ever Power Ranger series back in the 90s, and Spike is the kid to Bulk's best friend back when they were younger in the first ever era of the Power Rangers. Bulk and Spike are very much obsessed and inspired with the Power Rangers Samurai and often try to emulate their behavior and righteousness. Oftentimes, the pair get into trouble, for example, trying to fight Nylok monsters and Moogers and end up regretting their choices and running away. But hey, you gotta love their tenacity, it's pretty funny. Either way, they're goofballs with great intentions. Now in terms of romance, there's not a whole lot. First, we have Mike and Emily, who in some aspects can be considered a couple by fans because of how well they get along with each other. and they can be seen by the end of the series going with each other after the Rangers go their separate ways. Next is Spike and Mia / the Pink Ranger. Now the reason why I say slash is because Spike had fallen for the Pink Ranger after both he and Bulk were saved by her and later the Rangers from the Nylok monsters, not knowing that Mia is the Pink Ranger. I also say Mia because Spike had met Mia at some point and fell for her after she became his main supporter to follow through with his purpose and goals. Lastly, you got a special Nylok monster named Dayu and her monster/human fiance Decker. Centuries ago, Dayu and Decker were set to get married and live out the rest of their lives with each other. But some crazy shit happened, and both ended up turning into monsters and then never got to live their lives together. That's why there's that one episode where Dayu captures brides on their wedding day because she never had one to enjoy, which is pretty sad and really dark. Now, I have many reasons as to why the Power Rangers Samurai is the best Power Ranger series ever, because of how great the storytelling is and how the characters have their own struggles to deal with and how they get through those situations. There was this one episode where Mike, the Green Ranger, was not offered to take a power disc called the Beetle Disc, which was intended to be given to his fellow Ranger Mia. He eventually does prove himself worthy of the Beetle Disc after he trains tirelessly to achieve that goal. Jaden from time to time struggled to cope with the fact if he was a good leader or not when it came to the safety of his team. For those of you that have already watched the series, it's pretty apparent when he leaves the Shiba Samurai house to let his sister take his place, as the reason why Jaden became the Red Ranger in the first place was to act as a fill-in for his more qualified sister, whose name is Lauren Shiba. Eventually though, Jaden does find his pathway in life and chooses to lead his team through any trials, to which his sister sees that he is more than capable of doing so. Emily's struggles have more to do with her emotions. She does not believe that in certain aspects that she is tough enough emotionally or physically to be worthy of being the Yellow Ranger. But this one episode proves otherwise. In an episode where the Rangers were getting their butts beat by a monster that can physically hurt them and send them flying by merely insulting them and bringing up their fears and insecurities that each Ranger has, Emily is the only one that's able to stand up against the monster by ignoring his insults and keeps fighting. Which, I don't know about you, but that takes a lot of willpower to not feel hurt when someone insults you, especially if that insult stems from something you fear or are insecure about. Kevin also struggles with being second in command to Jaden, wondering if he could actually lead the Rangers with as much as efficiency as Jaden. There was one episode where Kevin had to capture a swordfish Zord that was needed to cure the Rangers from a sickness given to them by a monster. Kevin struggled tirelessly to capture it, eventually passing out from the attempts. But in the end, thanks to an old man that took care of him and gave him the confidence to capture the Swordfish Zord, Kevin finally did it and saved the Rangers from sickness, which led to the monster being defeated. And finally, Mia, who doesn't really have a struggle besides the fact that she's not good at cooking, but again, nobody tells her. Surprisingly, the only person to have ever loved Mia's cooking is Jaden's sister Lauren. I know y'all remember that episode where Lauren was named leader of the Rangers and was scarfing down Mia's cooking and said she loved it.
So, Lauren, you say you train day and night, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's my life. I practice the ceiling power, I exercise, I train. This tastes great. I've gotta have some more of this.
Not gonna lie, I was in absolute shock and I was kind of scared. I was really scared. But hey, if Mia is saved from heartbreak by everyone lying to her, then she'll be fine. See guys, lying gets you somewhere in life. The last topic that I want to talk about is Jaden's childhood friend Antonio, who eventually returned to the Shiba house and became the Gold Ranger, which means that the Rangers ended up having a 6th Ranger instead of 5 at some point. Antonio was literally one of the coolest Rangers I've ever seen. Like, y'all remember that episode where Jaden recognized him as his childhood friend and you were like, who the hell are you? Guess Antonio made his way into all our hearts then. And the man knew how to fish and how to cook. Sorry, Mia, but food poisoning ain't on my to-do list. Anyways, that's the end of the video, y'all. I know there's a couple of things that I missed, so let me know down in the comments what memorable moments came out of Power Rangers Samurai, who were your favorite Rangers, and what was your favorite episode. If you enjoyed, smack that like button and subscribe. Tap that noti bell, turn on post notifications so you never miss a thing. Follow me on Insta and Twitter at ChaoticThinks, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, gents.